Hello and welcome to week 7 in biopsychology here, and we are getting into the most researched and probably the most fascinating of all of our senses, and that is vision, one that we highly depend on as human beings, one of our most advanced sensory systems. So we start off with a discussion looking at optical illusions, or ways in which art forms can be created that trick our brains into seeing things that maybe are not there or implied or whatever. And what I'm asking you to do is to go out into the web or even into the real world and take pictures of optical illusions. And the key here is not just to capture them in an image that you will post to the discussion board, but to do the research necessary to figure out what is it about our nervous system, what is it about the retina, the neurological pathway, the processing of vision across the occipital lobe, the dorsal and ventral streams. What is it about that particular process makes that illusion work? So you have to do a little bit of research. This is not in your current resources. You have to go outside of that and do some research on these different illusions. Now, I'm also asking each one of you to do a different one. So those of you who are early, you're going to get, the first dibs. Before you do this, go in and see what's already been done. You might even find the illusion, make sure it's a unique one, post it in the discussion board to claim it, and then follow up with another discussion explaining it if you really want to get in there quick with your illusion. So I'm looking for different ones. Everybody's having a different illusion that they're going for. The quiz is, I'm asking, I paint a scenario that you see someone and I want you to tell me everything about the visual pathway, and that is from photon coming into your eye all the way to the emotional and cognitive experiences of the visual object. So we're talking about the retina, different layers of the retina, the visual pathway through the brain, the representation of that image on the occipital lobe. Again, like I just said, the ventral and dorsal pathways, the role of the limbic system, the processing of that information into the frontal cortex, and ultimately the experience of that visual information. I want you to name all the parts. I want you to trace that pathway verbally right through, maybe in steps, maybe call it step 1, 2, 3 bullet points. That's fine. I want you to be able to put that in there and trace out that pathway. It should be a fairly long answer. So I recommend that you do it outside of Brightspace and then just copy and paste in there. The assignment for this chapter actually does a little bit of comparative biology, and that is we are joyfully in the presence of animals that have extreme abilities. Eagles and hawks have really good vision. Dogs have really good smell. Bats have really good hearing. Those kinds of things. What I want you to do is to pick an animal of your choice and talk about its sensation system. There are, of course, the raptors, the birds, and stuff like that. I don't know, do chipmunks have something special going on? I have no idea. Be creative about this. So pick an animal, talk about its sensory system and how it's particularly adapted to their survival. And I want you to discuss their sensory system to the point of the neurology to it. Don't talk about just its capabilities. Talk about why. What is it about the structure? Let's say, for example, that the sensitivity on chipmunks' paws is amazing. Okay? Tell me why. What is it about chipmunk paws and the tactile senses that are on there that enable them to be able to do that, kind of thing, all of that. In fact, I do know that spiders have a particular sensitivity to vibrations. That's why they can quickly capture things in their webs. So whatever it is, but you have to go to the level of the neurology to it. You can't just stop at like, it's amazing. Tell me why. So in that paper, a pretty brief 2-page research paper, title page and references, APA all over the place. Remember, it's always like that. Make sure you cite your sources. Make sure your references are on its own page, hanging indent, double space, no extra space between them, in-text citations, all of that stuff to tell me about this animal that has a really cool sensation system of some kind and why. All right, so that's it for this week. We have some cool discussions on illusions, describing the visual pathway, and introducing yourself to one of our fellow survivors on this wonderful planet that we live on, and how they have particularly adapted their sensory system. So I'll see you online in the discussions, and have a great week.